Are you all familiar with the Salisbury Cathedral? Ever heard of that? Salisbury Cathedral is an early English Gothic designed Anglican cathedral in the city of Salisbury, England. It was built back in the 1200s. It took 38 years to build that cathedral. Salisbury Cathedral is known for four things. The first thing is that it has England's tallest spire at 404 feet high. Aloha Tower is 184 feet high, so put a couple Aloha Towers and then some, and that's the spire of this cathedral. It also houses one of the world's oldest clocks. It's an iron faceless clock without a dial, and it was built in 1386, and it strikes only on the hour. The third thing about Salisbury Cathedral is that it has a beautiful octagon-shaped, what's called a chapter house. And inside this chapter house, on each of the 8 walls, from ceiling to floor, are murals of biblical stories like Adam and Eve in the garden and the Tower of Babel and Noah and the Ark and things like that. Beautiful building. Also inside that building is the best of the 4 original manuscripts of Magna Carta. That was written 1215. The fourth thing I want to share with you about Salisbury Cathedral is that every year, for the last 40 years, they hold an Advent service called From Darkness to Light. That service begins with pitch black, with absolute silence, that's only broken by the Advent candle being lit. And a solo voice rings out across that age-old, century-old building. 2 processions make their way, 2 processions of over 100 people systematically making their way around the cathedral while lighting hundreds of candles. And toward the end of the worship, the 2 processions meet together in a blaze of light, and the flicker of 1,300 candles highlights the beauty of that cathedral. All the stained glass in it, and it makes the inside of the cathedral glow. Well, our cathedral was all aglow a few evenings ago with our candlelight service on Christmas Eve. 1 small candle was lit, and then another, and then another, and then another, filling up our entire sanctuary with light. It was a beautiful ceremony. And that ceremony is so symbolic of how just 1 candle, shining brightly, shared with another, and shared with another, and shared with another, shining brightly, can light up and give so much light to the world. Whether it's called a cathedral or a temple or a sanctuary, they are all sacred spaces for worship, sacred spaces for prayer, and really for some, this last Christmas Eve, our sanctuary was a little space for tranquility, for refuge, comfort, and peace, which is sorely needed during this frenetic time. Just to sit in contemplation as the light fills the room helps us to remember that even though the world might seem dark, we are always, always, always surrounded by the light of God. So we celebrated the birth of Jesus with light. There's a lot of light references when it comes to Jesus, aren't there? Jesus said of himself, "I am the light of the world. The one who follows me will not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." The verse where that's found, where Jesus said, "I am the light of the world," is the Gospel of John, the 8th chapter, the 12th verse. Do you know where he was when he said that? He was in the temple. He was in the temple sharing his teachings in a sacred space. His teachings of love for one another, care for one another, to be kind, to be generous, to be genuine, to be humble. That's the 12th verse. But those 11 verses that lead up to that tell a story, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Get this. Jesus is in the temple, not in the inner sanctum that was reserved for the priests to go in, the holies of holies. No, he was in the temple courts, the outer sections where all the people could be, so he could speak to them. Jesus is speaking to the people, and Scripture says the teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery, and they made her stand before the crowd. Are you picturing that? Now, we don't know the specifics. We don't know if they were violent, if they were aggressive, if they had her hands tied, or if they simply escorted her in. But nonetheless, Scripture says, they made her stand before the crowd. It was public humiliation. So you know the story. They were trying to test Jesus, right? They were trying to trip him up. And they said, the law says that we're supposed to stone her. What do you say, Jesus? It's interesting that Jesus was looking down. He wasn't looking at any of them. And he straightens up. He's kind of taking his finger and just kind of writing in the sand. And he straightens up and he says, let the one who is without sin cast the first stone. And when he said that, the religious leaders, they started to back away, and they just, one by one, just kind of slunk away. Is slunk a word? Slink, slank, slunk, right? Okay, all right.
Slink.
But think about what Jesus said there. What if there was one person that was without sin? No sin, no darkness, no chaos, no evil, just pure virtue, just clear, transparent goodness. A person who is without sin would not cast a stone. A virtuous person, a person who understood that God is love and we are all made of that love, would not pick up a stone for the purpose of murdering another child of God. Jesus caught them in their hypocrisy. He shed light on just how murky their understanding of God was. And he shined a spotlight on the darkness of their hearts and the darkness of their minds in their efforts to elevate themselves and to separate themselves from someone they deemed less than. So after this story of humiliation and injustice, when the accusers had all fled, that's when Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Jesus never spoke from a place of ego or personality. So when he was saying, I am the light of the world, he wasn't exalting himself. He wasn't like, I can sing, I can dance, I can perform miracles, come and see me watch. I'm here every Thursday. Thank you very much. No. He always spoke from a much, much deeper level, the level of love for all people, the level of oneness with all life, the deeper spiritual level of connection and kindness and compassion, rather than the surface level of differences, distinctions, and division. That's why the religious leaders of the day really didn't get it. And some of them aren't getting it even yet today. By saying, I am the light of the world, he was in essence saying, my heart is filled with the light of God. My mind is filled with the light of God. So when he said, whoever follows me, and that Greek word there that's translated follow can also be translated whoever accompanies me or joins. So whoever accompanies me on this path that I'm walking, whoever joins with me and holds hands as we walk down this path, will never live in darkness. Makes sense, doesn't it? If your heart is filled with pure light and your mind is filled with pure light, then you'll never walk in darkness. Your path will always be illumined by the light of life, and you will illumine the path for others. Jesus had just demonstrated through his actions and responses to a very humiliating and unjust situation that his heart and his mind were filled with the light of God. And we know that he wasn't setting himself apart as if he's the only, one and only light of the world, because he proclaimed to millions who had gathered to hear his Sermon on the Mount, you are the light of the world. Who is he speaking to? He wasn't speaking to the graduating class of some theological seminary. No. He wasn't speaking to the ecumenical meeting of the Council of Bishops. No. He was speaking to regular people, the common of the common people. He was speaking to the tall ones and the short ones and the young ones and the old ones, the skeptics and the seekers. And he said to them, just like he would say today, you are the light of the world. 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 The light of the world is present within our hearts. The light of the world is present within our own minds. It's part of us. It's who we are made. It's what we are made of. It's who we are. We carry it with us always and in all ways. So once a year, Salisbury Cathedral is all aglow with light. Once a year, our sanctuary is transformed and is all aglow with light. I hope you can take that picture with you, that image of our sanctuary being filled with light. I hope you can take that into the coming year so that you can call upon that memory to give you hope and encouragement and strength and comfort in remembering the transformative power of light. Right now in our country, we're hearing stories, even seeing videos of public humiliation and injustice. It seems like darkness is all around us and happening everywhere. But the promise of the light of the world is that candle flame by candle flame, little by little, light by light, life by life, one light shining brightly, shared with another, and shared with another, and shared with another, the darkness can be challenged and can be changed and transformed.